Thanks so much for joining us. We are the Massie twins from GoneWithTheTwins.com, and we just got back from the movie Stuber, so we'll be talking about that today.
Yeah, so if you've seen the trailer, Stuber is essentially, the title is from Stu and Uber. Stu is the main character played by Kumail Nanjiani, and he's an Uber driver who becomes an unwitting partner to Dave Bautista's police officer. And the whole movie is ridiculous humor, but it's effective and it works, and I laughed quite a few times.
Yeah, I think what this is, it's not a great deviation from the standard odd couple pairing. What you've got is the straight man and the funny man. Here, Kumail Nanjiani is the mostly the comic relief, and Dave Bautista is the tough guy. So you've got a traditional macho character playing the cop, and then he's definitely far from macho, but what he instead represents is like responsibility and sensibility and those kind of things. But so you've got two extremes, opposite ends of the spectrum, and in the same way that something like Central Intelligence and those kinds of films work, you're pairing two people who should never be together. And in here, again, if you've seen the trailers, this Dave Bautista's character becomes dependent on his Uber driver because he had LASIK eye surgery earlier in the day, and then he finds out that a big drug bust is going down that he needs to attend, and he can't see anything. So
these two characters work really well together. I think they have great chemistry. The film, as it progresses and you get to know the characters a little better, it works. For me, it worked better. Early on in the film, I think they tried a little too hard to get the action and comedy vibe, and the action didn't do anything for me. In fact, the opening scene to the film displays Dave Bautista and
Karen Gillan.
Karen Gillan, yeah, but he fights. I believe his name's Iwo. I can't remember his last
martial
name.
artist.
The martial
from the
artist
raid.
from the raid, yeah. But so their fight sequence, the way it's choreographed, is so quick cut and chaotic that you don't get a chance to see either one of them really show off their skills.
Well, and it's heavy hitting. It's brutal. It's violent.
There's nothing funny at all. So
this is
that opening scene.
That opening scene sets up a straightforward action type film,
Yeah.
and so then they have to, in a strange way, work back from that and try to regain a sense of humor about the coming things, because
and really every action sequence in the film, every moment of violence is so serious that I think it works against the humor of the film.
Yeah, and we were talking about this earlier. A lot of these kinds of comedies, they take very serious situations and then try to turn them comical. And here we've got drug busts and violent prisoners and shootouts and hostage situations and things like that. These are very serious situations that these characters get into, but this is a comedy. So at some point, something fantastical has to happen for them to get out of it. So there's a lot of the very phony stalling and talking for distractions.
They don't really need to have these such serious situations in these movies. It takes away from the humor.
That other one, Date Night, I think, from a while ago, and Game Night. Those are two other ones where there's a lot of action and a lot of serious situations.
One of the other things that kind of detracts a little bit from the humor is that Bautista and Nanjiani they're playing it so kind of silly and goofy, and they get all those laughs. But then all of the villains in the film, a lot of the supporting characters, they play it completely serious, and there is nothing funny at all about it.
So then when you get into these hostage situations, characters with knives to their throats and guns to their heads, what you end up having is very fake ways out of it.
Yeah.
Distractions, one-liners, various things
it makes
that
it to where
are unconvincing.
you can never take anything in the film seriously.
Yeah. And obviously,
which is okay to a
obviously,
degree.
nobody's going to get seriously hurt in the context of this comedy. Certainly not the two main characters, but it's still it's a strange thing to have such graphic violence and bad
it's
language
a trend
and everything.
that they seem to be.
It's the hard R, but then also with humor.
Yeah, and it doesn't give you that different ends of the spectrum quite as much as something like even recently Spy with Melissa McCarthy, where her character is so goofy and the violence is pretty extreme, but because it's such opposite ends of the spectrum, that works a little better. That said, though, I still laughed a lot during this film. There's a lot of really funny one-liners. Nanjiani really gets, I think, a lot of the best beats, the best basically one-liners. The jokes end up going to him more.
Sure. And also I think the setting has been updated with social media and things like Uber. So this is a very tried and true commonplace formula, but it's been updated to a 2019 setting. So this will ring truer with audiences from nowadays. So
I kind of wish they had done a little bit more something unexpected, something outside the box, maybe closer to something like Central Intelligence, where they flip-flop who you think is going to be the straight man and the funny man. But
but all in all, I do think the two main characters have good chemistry. Their dynamic is interesting, and it lends itself to a lot of little laughs. I didn't think there were a ton of belly laughs, but some little bits here and there that are kind of memorable. So
Well, that about wraps things up. You can read the full review on GoneWithTheTwins.com. Thanks so much for watching, and we will be back with another movie review before you know it.
If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer.